Good morning. This is Angela with today's cup of tea. Change is all around us. We are going through so much change in our lives right now, and that's in all levels. Look at our institutions, our governments, our financial systems, our the way we do things, our sciences, our the quantum physics and all the things they're discovering, the astronomy and relations to the universe and how that's affecting us as well. There are so many different things on the physical level without even getting to the point of talking about our spiritual progress and where we're going evolution wise with our spirituality and reaching and striving to get up that mountain on our individual paths to the top to see the moon and to enlightenment. So, needless to say, the only constant right now in the world is change. Yet, one of the things that we have gone through, and one of the biggest lessons that we've gone through in the past, thousands and thousands of years, has been complacency and being comfortable, being creatures of habit. The term that we use, creatures of habit. And the ego has created that. The ego, and part of its lessons and part of the path that we've taken, has all been about the ego making decisions from, like I've talked about so many times about it, making decisions as the pawn on the game board. And basically on what's in front of it, what's behind it, what others around it are doing. And in doing so creates a complacency of, well, I'm doing it right. I'm doing it the way I'm supposed to be doing it. And then it becomes the habitual thing. And if I'm doing it this way, and it's always worked this way, then why change? Because this is the way it's working. So I don't have to worry, and I don't have to fret and have fear and anger and resentment, all that kind of stuff. So, however, many times when that happens, what happens is that we actually slow our progress or stall our progress because we're in the same spot, and what I call it treading water. Treading water. Well, at some point, the higher self gets to the point of, okay, it's time to move forward. And the ego's like, no. The higher self said, yeah. And so some things will get caused, and some things will be catalysts in your life that will cause great change. Because it's like, okay, we've treaded water long enough in the same spot. Now it's time for us to move forward. We learned all the lessons we needed to learn. Now we need to move. So we are going through a huge time of that right now. And all I ever hear and all I get, in meditation, from Creator, from my guides, and from my higher self, is that we are ripping off the Band-Aid. Well, ripping off the Band-Aid is totally just losing ourselves in huge, massive changes. And people ask me that a lot. Many people come to me and they're like, well, so, I know you get visions. I know you see things. Like, so what do you see? What do you see happening? Is this 2012 thing all bunk? Do you see the world, blowing up? And or are we going to have some big catastrophes or what? And, it doesn't really matter. If I just say, all I'm going to say is that I see serious, huge change. And I don't mean it in serious, but I mean like just huge change. And just a completely different way of living. Right away people get scared when I say that. Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Well, so what do you see? And they want to see details. And all of this relates back to this fear of change and how much many of us will just completely just hold on for dear life to not accept the change. And so we fight it, we cause friction, and in fighting it, guess what happens is we put energy to it even more so, and then create even more drastic change. So if we have the perception and we live by the feeling that all change is bad, that change is scary, that it's detrimental, that it hurts us, that it's horrible and frightful and everything else, then guess what's going to happen? That's how your experience of change is going to be. It goes back to many, there are so many different quotes that sort of relate back to this. Like one has to do with the Hopi Elders poem that I read ages ago, like months and months ago, about letting go of the shore and just allowing yourself to get out to the center of the current and enjoy who's there with you and just embrace it and allow it and let it flow. The other thing is we've also made a really big habit of becoming afraid of change and becoming afraid of the unknown. And that is why we then create anger and rage and hatred. And it's mostly based out of not understanding and not taking the effort, making the effort to understand that which we don't understand or know. So that goes to what the Marie Curie quote of, there's nothing left to be misunderstood. It's only there's nothing left to be feared, only understood. So that's really what we're talking about today, is change, because it's inevitable. And regardless of what you believe, regardless of, if you're saying, oh, well, look at all these prophecies, they're all coming together at the same time, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. Look around us and see what's going on as, like I said, the institutions are falling, the government is changing, the financial institutions are changing, and our world is changing. How we look at our world is changing. The sciences of our world are changing. So all of this is changing as we are changing spiritually and in consciousness, and in how we are coming into remembrance of our oneness and togetherness and the divinity within us, instead of allowing others to tell us what we can or cannot do. So the choice is yours. The choice is this. Do you want it with grace and ease, or do you want it with trauma, drama, and illness? I always come back to that, because I choose, as I've said, the only conscious limitation that I put on my experience moving forward is to do it without trauma, drama, and illness, and to do it without creating situations for illustration, only to move forward with experiencing in grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy and fun, excitement, adventure, love, and humor. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. So we can choose that. And so, because what happens is we feel like we're out of control. Change makes us feel like we're out of control. Well, control is a perception, and we've talked about that to the nth degree as well. What I'm asking you to do is to step back in your life and say, what is it that's changing? What is it that doesn't serve me anymore, that can fall away? And how can I look at that in a positive light and embrace it, instead of trying to hold on to it just because it's familiar to me? And allow it to flow. Let go of the reins. Again, this is another form of letting go of control. I knew that would come up again. And say, okay, well, I will embrace the change. I will allow it to flow. And because, as my understanding is, as the more we go along, the more it's going to be, the only constant is change. And that's really already what it's like today. I mean, I don't know about you, but in my life, totally, every day. So enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. It's like, going on a ride where you can't see what's coming up around the turn, but it's fun and exciting and adventurous. And if you really come from the perspective that we are the divine, we are immortal, and we just change form and transition from, one form to another. It's when you can release the fear of that, of what happens and all that kind of stuff, well, then you can just sort of hang on for the ride. And once you do that and allow it to flow, it's amazing how much more easily the change comes to you, and how much more positive of an experience changing becomes for you, and the changes in your life become for you, because you then are letting go of your expectations, you're letting go of your fears and anxieties and worries and resentments and all that kind of stuff that you're using to hold on to that shore when that current is just flowing free. So today's clearing is all about, you guessed it, change. So would you like, and all of the following without trauma, drama, and illness, without recreating a situation for illustration, all with ease and grace and balance and harmony and joy and fun, excitement, adventure, humor, love, all that. And would you like all the information via instantaneous download with fully conscious understanding, and for all versions of you, all times, all places, into the ever-expanding universe, to infinity and beyond? So that's for all of the following. Creative truth and understanding on change, perception versus truth, bringing forth any and all lessons and situations that are still misunderstood in your experience, this life or any other life, about change, that where change felt scary and change felt like it was bad and harmful. and to get creative truth and understanding on the perception versus the truth of those situations, to pull all beliefs regarding change is bad, change is scary, change is hurtful or harmful, change is negative, to pull any and all beliefs related to that, to pull all the fears, resentments, regrets, and rejections regarding fear of change and all of these experiences and all of these beliefs, and then also to pull the self-limiting thoughts, words, and actions underneath that at the cellular level, pull those out, transform to Creator's light, send back to Creator, close those receptors absolutely and permanently, and open new ones, saturate the cells with the highest vibration of Creator's unconditional love, and download the beliefs that change is positive, change is fun and exciting and adventurous, and change is good. And I can have fun with change. I love change. I embrace change. Download all of those. And the feelings that go along with those, that you're worthy, deserving, and able to, that it's possible, it's allowed, it's okay, and safe to, that you're ready, willing, and able to, that you have that in your life right now. And that then we're going to write it off as a completed experiencing the Akashic Records. We're going to clear the timelines, heal, resolve, clear the timelines regarding all these fears and situations to infinity in all directions with the violet and platinum flame. Offered to all ancestors and descendants if they so choose to accept. So all you need to do is take a deep breath and say, yes, change, to receive. And that's it. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week. This is Angela with today's A Cup of Tea.